Hey everyone, I'm Ratro Game, and welcome to my first video playing Final Fantasy I on PSP and trying to get 100% achievement on Retro Achievements. For those who don't know, Retro Achievement is a website that creates achievement for classic game that you play via emulator, similar to Steam Achievement or PlayStation Throppy. For this playthrough, I chose to play the PSP version. Most of the achievements are based on main story progression and defeating bosses. There are also a couple of DLC achievements, as well as bestiary and chest collection achievements. Alright, let's get started. Final Fantasy I has 6 classes in total. Warrior, Thief, Monk, White Mage, Black Mage, and Red Mage. For this playthrough, I'm going to choose Warrior, Thief, Monk, and Red Mage, which makes a more melee-oriented team. The reason I chose this party is to make auto battle easier in the early game. I hope I won't regret this choice later. Alright, let's begin. I'm going to let the cutscene play out. And here we are, finally in the game. Okay, let's check out the town first. The city is called Cornelia. Obviously, the first thing I'm checking is the weapon shop. Oh wow, look at these prices. Everything is really cheap. Maybe it's because this is the first city. I'm just gonna buy everything. Same thing with the armor shop. All right, let's equip all of this. Next is the spell shop. I think I'm just going to buy Cure for now. The black magic here isn't too interesting yet. All right, let's head to the castle. I wish the crystal colors match their outfits. Wow, the first task is to rescue the princess. Who would have guessed? Okay, now we can finally go out. Our destination is to the north. First combat. I'm going to skip a lot of battles later on because it will get boring really fast. Every time we kill a new monster, it gets added to the bestiary list, and the achievement progress shows up in the top left corner. I'm going to skip battles like this. I hope it's not too annoying. I'm also going to skip showing the bestiary progress, because that would take a long time. Here we are at the first dungeon, the Chaos Shrine. There's an achievement related to chests, so I need to collect every chest in the dungeon to get it. Since this is the first dungeon, I'm not going to skip the exploration so you guys can experience it fully. I'm going to skip a lot of boring parts like this later and focus only on achievement-related content. The chest collection progress is also tracked on top left corner, but I think it's shared across multiple dungeons, not just this one, because 38 chests would be a lot for a single dungeon. Okay, the door's locked. I guess I'll have to come back here later. Also locked. Okay then. This looks like a boss fight, so let me heal up first. This is the reason I chose a melee-oriented party to make battles quicker. Alright, we finally got our first achievement. Lapdogs, defeat Garland, and rescue the princess. Alright, back to the castle. Looks like we need to light all 4 crystals at the continent north from here. kind of weird that they fixed the bridge just for us. I mean, was it broken this whole time? Well, I guess that's where we're heading next. Oops, I accidentally pressed a button and skipped it. We're heading north now to fulfill the prophecy, I guess. Oh, a crazy horse? That looks cool. Is that a unicorn? Here we are at Matoya's cave. Oh, this is how you access the map. By pressing dash button, which is circle, and select button. There's nothing else to do here except rob this blind woman. I guess we'll have to find her eyes later. I forgot to mention that this isn't my first time playing Final Fantasy. I've played the NES version before, but I've never played the PSP version. Apparently this version even has some DLC, so I'm curious to check that out later. Alright, I guess we're heading east from here. Check out this lizard. Very cool design. Oh, and it's actually pretty tough too. Wow, that was a close fight. Alright, I'm going to use a tent here to recover. Alright, we finally made it to the second city, Pravoka. As usual, the first thing I'm doing is checking the equipment shop. I'll just buy whatever I can afford for now. Looks like pirates are causing trouble in the city. Oh, there he is. The pirate leader. I guess this is the guy. This fight seems easy enough, so I'll just auto-attack. And there we go. Second achievement. Sail away. We already have a ship this early. That's actually really fast. Most JRPGs don't give you one until mid-game. All right, let's head south. All right, next stop is Elfheim. There's nothing too special here right now, so I'm going to check out the castle. All right, looks like we need to find a cure to wake up the elf prince. Is it just me, or did they not really give us any directions? Anyway, let's try heading west. All right, this is Western Keep. Apparently, he needs a crown. Man, everyone in this game keeps asking me to find things for them. Did they even try looking themselves? I'm going to skip the backtracking to a place we've already visited. All right, let's head back to Elfheim and restock. I'm going to buy Fira for the Red Mage. After we rest and restock, we'll head west to the Marsh Cave. From here on, I'm going to skip most of the dungeon exploration since it's basically the same content, and cut straight to the quest objective, or the boss fight. Finally, we're at the Marsh Cave. I'm skipping ahead here. The chest is guarded by a Piscademon. These guys hit hard, but I eventually managed to win. And we got the crown and the achievement. Back to Elfheim to revive our fallen comrade first. And back to the Western Keep to deliver the crown. And of course, he's a monster. Who would have guessed? Wow, really? Casting an instant death spell right at the start of combat. And the good news is I can't revive him, since I don't have enough money for a Phoenix down. Overall, not really that bad, except for the instant death at the beginning. And we got the All-Seeing Eye achievement. Oh, and we also got the Crystal Eye. I guess this one is for Matoya. And now we're heading back to Matoya's cave to give her back her eye. And we got the Jolt Tonic. I guess this is some kind of energy drink. And finally, we give the prince the Jolt Tonic. Wow, that was a really long fetch quest. Honestly, we could have saved a lot of time if we had just mugged Matoya the first time we met her. Oh, finally. We got the Mystic Key and the Jolted Awake achievement. Now that we've got the Mystic Key, it's time to go back and grab all the locked loot. Let's start with this castle. Where's the treasure room? I think it's along the outer wall of the castle. Oh, there it is. Let's see what we have here. Next, we're heading to the Western Keep. There are only 3 chests to grab here. Next, we head back to the Marsh Cave. There are a few locked doors on the B3 floor that we can finally open. Along the way, I stopped by Elfheim to buy the Poisonous spell to cure poison status, and Cura for better healing. Back to plundering. Next stop is Castle Cornelia. There are a lot of chests here. What's this? Nitro powder. Not sure what it's for yet, but I'm sure it'll be important later. And now it's time to equip everything we picked up from that treasure hunt. Oh wait, I almost forgot about the locked doors at the Chaos Shrine. I'm pretty sure I skipped a couple earlier. Let's grab them first. Our next destination is the west side of the continent. It's a bit annoying that we have to find a place to dock the ship first. Oh, looks like there are a lot of dwarves here in the cave. There are also a few chests around. And this is where we give them the nitro powder. Nice. Looks like we can pass through here now. Oh wow, look at this. There are quite a couple chests here. Not bad at all. These dwarves are pretty rich. Well, all of this is mine now. Hey, we need the money to save the world, okay? Alright, time to go through the hole we just created. So we keep sailing to the west and eventually we arrive at the next city. This one is called Melmond. As usual, the first thing I'm checking is the equipment shop. And wow, that armor is really expensive. Alright, let's keep exploring to the west. Just as a reminder, we need to find 4 crystals to save the world. Or something like that. And eventually we find this cave called the Cave of Earth. Skipping ahead to B3, and we run into this vampire. Yeah, this definitely looks like a boss fight. Huh, that felt more like a random mob than a boss. Oh nice, we actually get an achievement for beating that. And we got Star Ruby. Alright, let's keep going. Looks like a dead end here. I'm guessing we'll need some kind of item to progress. Alright, back outside. I remember seeing a cave to the west when we passed through here earlier, so let's check that out. Alright, this is the Giant's Cave. Oh, he wants the Star Ruby. So I guess we were meant to come here first to find out about it. Let's see if there's any treasure around here. Oh, there it is. And that brings us out on the other side of the mountain. There's another cave here. That's too bad. I was hoping we could smash pots for some loot. Let's see what we have here. Oh, there's an old man. And he gives us the earth rod. This should be for that dead end from before. And here we are back at the dead end from earlier. Let's see what happens when we use the earth rod. Oh, looks like that opened up another staircase. And at the end of B5, we finally reach our first crystal. But before we can claim it, we have to defeat the first major boss, Lich. This is probably the first real difficulty spike in the game, because the bosses before this were basically a joke. Lich hits like a truck. In the first round, Lich threw a bunch of spells at me, and it ended in a game over. And the best part is, I didn't save for a long time, so yeah, I had to redo the whole dungeon. Anyway, after doing a bit of grinding, I bought Karaga for my red mage to help with support. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to regret not bringing a white mage, because the red mage can't heal the whole party. Anyway, we're back at B5, time for round 2. My strategy is still the same. Just auto-attack and try to out-heal him. At first I tried using a debuff spell on him, but I guess it didn't work. The area spell is still doing big damage to our party. Thanks to Karaga, I should be able to heal the party back up. Well, I guess the red mage is the healer now. I also noticed that the monk is dealing much lower damage compared to the warrior and the thief. Probably because I haven't gotten a weapon upgrade for him yet. Let's speed up the fight here. Otherwise, this is going to be a really slow battle. Nothing special happened, I'm just repeating the same strategy over and over. In the future, I'm probably going to skip fights like this since they get pretty repetitive. And finally, he's down. That's probably the toughest boss we've faced so far. Alright, we finally lit our first crystal, only 3 more to go. Oh, a cutscene. I wonder what that's all about. It seems we unlock something somewhere. And we get the Power of Earth achievement. Thankfully, there's a portal that leads outside, so we don't have to walk all the way back. Our next destination for the second crystal is on the southeast corner of the continent. We need to sail along the outer edge of the continent. It's going to be quite a long trip. I'm going to skip ahead here. We finally made it to the southeast corner of the continent, and just to the west is our next destination. Around the lake is the new town, Crescent Lake. As usual, the first thing I'm doing is checking the equipment shop. There aren't many upgrades here, but it should be good enough for now. I guess we'll switch to mithril gear. Are they doing some kind of ritual here? Anyway, let's talk to this guy and get the canoe. It's weird that we have to talk to this specific guy and not the one with the clearly different clothes. Okay, now let's put that canoe to use and head to the west. Yeah, this place is basically a maze. Finally, we arrive at Mount Gulg. And on the last floor, after grabbing all the chests, I unlock the Plunderer achievement. And on Crystal Room, as usual, we face the boss before the crystal. We greeted by Merilith. Same tactic here, nothing new except for gear. The monk is still doing really low damage, and I'm not sure why. The red mage is carrying the team with all the healing. Honestly, this boss is way easier than the Lich. And we lit the fire crystal. That's 2 crystals down and 2 more to go. And somewhere out there, another statue gets destroyed. Back on the ship, our next destination is a little north from here, going through another lake maze and into another cave. I think this might be the wrong cave. And here we are at the Cavern of Ice. And on the last floor, I got confused here because I was missing one chest. Then I stepped on the stairs that threw me out of the dungeon. That's really annoying because the game just kicks you out immediately. Anyway, I decided to go back because I wasn't finished with the dungeon yet. Now that we're back on the last floor, I think I'm supposed to fall down here to reach that shiny object. This is some kind of mini-boss, I guess. A very easy one. And finally we got the Levy Stone. But the chest collection achievement didn't pop up even after that, so I think I'm still missing one somewhere. After some backtracking, I finally found the missing chest in the marsh cave. Turns out the achievement is connected between these two dungeons. And while tying up some loose ends, I checked my bestiary and realized I'm missing one monster for the first bestiary achievement. And here it is, the missing monster, number 44. Ochre jelly, which can be found in the Cavern of Earth. Alright, back at Crescent Lake, we head south to a small desert area. And finally, we get the airship. With the airship, we can finally access the northern continent, but the airship can only land on greenfield areas, so we need to find one first before we can land. That's kind of ridiculous. So even with the airship, we still have to walk to reach the destination. Our next destination is the Citadel of Trials, where we'll be able to advance our classes. I guess we have to go through the trial first before we get the reward. No free dinner around here. Okay, this dungeon is quite different from the others before. It's sort of like a maze that teleports you depending on which portal you take. And finally, after all the trouble we went through, we're rewarded with a rat's tail. Not sure how I feel about that. Our next destination is to the north, around this area with a bunch of small islands. We finally meet Bahamut. After giving him the rat's tail, he upgrades our classes. Okay. That rat's tail turns out to be a very important item. Great, we've got new outfits, and our classes upgrade to Knight, Ninja, Master, and Red Wizard. While checking a bunch of holes on the island, I think I ended up in, well, hell, I suppose. This place, probably one of those DLC areas, and on the 5th floor, I met this turtle abomination and got completely cooked. Thankfully, it's not a game over. I'm probably underleveled for this dungeon, so I'll leave the DLC for later. Our next destination is the northwest corner of the continent, to the Desert Caravan. There we buy the fairy's bottle for 40,000 gold. That's very expensive. Next, we go back to the other side of the continent, to Gaia, and the fairy ends up getting loose here. So I chase it to the north side of town. and we receive the Oxial. After that, I pick up some new spells for the party since the Knight and Ninja can use magic now. I'm putting healing spells on the Knight and a bunch of buff spells on the Ninja. Sadly, the Master can't use any spells. Next, we go to Northwest again and use Canoe here. Our next destination is Waterfall Cavern to the north. As usual, I'm skipping straight to the last floor. And after collecting all the chests, we unlock the Hoarder achievement. After talking to the robot, we also got Warp Cube. Outside, we ride the canoe, but instead of going back to the airship, we head to this small town to the east. Here we hand over the Oxiale, and then we get into this barrel/submarine. And we arrive at the Sunken Ruin. On the last floor, after collecting all the chests, I get the Borrower achievement, and in the Crystal Room, I heal up first before starting the boss fight. I got a new item called the Giant's Glove that I can use in battle. It buffs the user with Saber Spell, a tier 7 black magic spell that increases attack and accuracy. It seems I forgot to restore the ninja's MP here. Oh well. The Master is still dealing really low damage here. I wonder why. The Knight is dealing some solid damage with haste and saber buffs now. Anyway, let's speed this up. That's 3 out of the 4 crystals, only 1 more to go. After that, we head back to Melman and talk to this guy to decipher the Rosetta Stone we just found in the sunken ruin. I guess we can speak Lufenian now. He is really a good teacher. Our next destination is on the northeast side of the continent. After finding a landing spot, we finally arrive at Lufenia. Okay, you're kind of in the way, mister. Can you move, please? Talk to this guy, and we got chime for accessing Mirage Tower. After that, we headed to west of Lufenia and arrived at the Mirage Tower. On the last floor, we teleported to Flying Fortress. On the way, I found a piece of adamantite. Finally, we reached the last floor. Let's heal up a bit before the boss fight. We're greeted by Tiamat, probably the coolest boss design so far. As usual, we start by setting up our buffs. I'm going to skip the fight a bit here. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to regret not having a white mage. And the Master's damage is really bothering me here. At the start of the game, I said I'd played this game before, but I never took Monk and Red Mage on that playthrough. Maybe that's one of the reasons I'm trying them now. Still, it's not really too bad for a boss. I still can manage to win easily for now. And finally, we light all of the crystals. Now let's head back to Mount Duergar and give the adamantite to the blacksmith first. After that, I try to complete Bestiary 2, but I'm still missing 4 monsters. The first one is Wyvern and Mirage Tower. After that is Basilisk around Cardia Island. And then Beretta at the same location. The last one is Sandworm in the desert near Mirage Tower. While we here, there's also a very rare monster here called Tyrannosaur. Took me for almost 20 minutes to get this one. Okay, since we've already lit all the crystals, all we have to do now is beat the game, right? But before that, we need to finish all of the DLC first. The first DLC we're going to complete is Dawn of Souls. This DLC includes 4 extra bonus dungeons, collectively called Soul of Chaos. The first dungeon is the Earthgift Shrine, which is the lowest level one and only contains 5 floors. Each floor in the dungeon is randomized, and there's a boss every 5th level. In this dungeon, the boss is on the last floor. There are 4 different bosses on the last floor of this dungeon, so I need to go through it 4 times. The first boss is Cerberus. There's nothing new in the fight, and it isn't too hard, so I'm going to skip ahead. After finishing, we're teleported back outside, which means I have to start over from floor 1. And here's the second boss, Echidna. Since it's similar fight, I'm going to skip it to the end. The third boss is Two-Headed Dragon. And the last boss of this dungeon called Ahriman. If you've noticed, every boss in this dungeon is tied to an achievement, which is pretty neat. And the same goes for all the DLC boss. Let's hit the second dungeon of the DLC. We're going back to Hellfire Chasm, which has 10 floors. This dungeon has bosses on the 5th and 10th floors. On the first level 5 floor boss, we run into this turtle again, but it's going to be a different story this time. And finally, I'm sure everyone's been screaming all this time, I unequip that godforsaken Iron Nunchaku and start using bare fists. And look at that big number. I can't believe using bare hands deals so much more damage than using Nunchaku. And continue on 10th floor, we face Barbaricha. The fight is so much fast and easier now since we have 2 damage dealer now. Going again at 5th floor on different boss. Oh, I think it's not over yet. Looks like a second phase. I think this is the only boss in the entire game that has 2 phases. Honestly, I don't feel any different from the first form. And on the 10th floor we meet Rubicante. And we finally done with Hellfire Chasm Dungeon. The next dungeon is Lifespring Grotto. This dungeon has 20 floors. This dungeon had the same boss on 5th and 10th. The only different boss is at the final floor. On the 5th floor we greeted by Gilgamesh. And at 10th we face Atomos. On the last floor we fight Omega. If you've played this game before, you probably know this infamous boss. When I played the NES version, there was no Omega, so this is my first time fighting this boss. When I fight it here, it feels almost impossible to beat it because Omega hits like a truck and immediately one-shots the red mage with just normal attack. It feels kind of strange because I just breeze through the boss in the other dungeon with no problems at all. By the way, my party's level is around 70 here. Well, long story short, we got wiped. For some reason I tried again and got wiped out again, so I'm assuming it's probably impossible for now, and I'll skip it for later. So for now I'm skipping Lifespring Grotto and heading straight to the last dungeon, Whisperwind Cove. This dungeon has a whopping 40 floors, but thankfully I only have to clear it once. The first boss on 10th floor is Typhon. Nothing too special here. Next up, on the 20th floor, we face Orthros. It's another straightforward fight. The boss on the 30th floor is the Phantom Train, and yeah, this guy's pretty tough. It actually turns into a pretty close fight. Now that we're on the 40th floor, I'm starting to get worried that we might run into another unbeatable boss. It took a really long time to get here, and I'm afraid we might get wiped out and have to start over again. Fortunately, the final boss here is Deathgaze, and that was unexpectedly easy. And we got Ultimate Weapon here. And with that, we finish Whisperwind Cove. I was getting a little worried around the 30th floor, but thankfully we made it to the end. Alright, let's wrap up the loose ends. We're back at Lifespring Grotto. We're around level 80 after finishing Whisperwind Cove, and our gear is upgraded too. Hopefully that's enough to take down Omega. My plan is to play defensively and stack buffs first. So the team formation right now is 2 damage dealers, the Knight and the Master, while the Ninja and the Red Wizard are mainly buffers and item users. I need to stack Proterra and Invisira first so Omega doesn't one-shot my team. If you guys play Monster Hunter Wilds, you probably noticed the similar appearance to the latest collaboration monster with Final Fantasy XIV, which is Savage Omega. That's right, this is the same creature. Every time it casts Earthquake, it's basically a free turn for us because everyone is fully equipped with ribbons and protect rings. I've also got another useful item here, the White Robe, which casts Invisira and raises the entire party's evasion. I'm going to skip ahead here because after a couple of stacks of Proterra and Invisira, the fight becomes pretty survivable. Omega mostly just uses single hits or wave cannon to deal damage, aside from the free Earthquake. Wow, look at that damage! Now Master completely outdamages Knight. And finally we take down Omega, but there's still one more boss waiting in Lifespring Grotto. And here we are at the last boss of the Dawn of Souls DLC, Shinru. This guy looks way cooler than Omega. In terms of difficulty, it's pretty close to Omega, but a bit easier. And with that, we are done with the Dawn of Souls DLC. The next step is completing another bestiary achievement. Here we are at the Sky Fortress in the Crystal Room, and the rare monster I'm missing is Warmech, which is tied to 2 achievements. The achievement tied to Warmech is for defeating it, since it's such a rare encounter. It's also tied to its item drop, the Genji armor, but I'm not sure if it's a 100% drop, or if I just got lucky since I got it on my first encounter. For the next DLC, we're going to the Chaos Shrine. There's an extra cutscene here. Okay, let's follow him then. This DLC is called Labyrinth of Time. Before we start, let me explain how this DLC works. Just like the previous one, this DLC is also a multi-floor dungeon. On each floor, you can accept penalties in exchange for extra time to complete the challenge. The challenges are randomized on each floor and come in different types, like mirror movement, shoving puzzles, and stealth sections. The difficulty also varies quite a bit. Some challenges are very easy, while others are straight up frustrating. If you finish the challenge in time, you'll be rewarded with a blue portal. If not, you'll get a red one. This DLC is tied to this achievement. If you notice, there are letters beside the conditions. That shows the order of portal colors you need to go through to get the correct boss fight at the end of the dungeon. Alright, as usual, let's start our first run. The first floor we got is very easy. It's a shoving puzzle floor. You just need to push the blocks without hitting the robot. And we get the blue portal here since we finished the challenge within the time limit. Next is a memory game. You need to memorize the order and answer the question. It's not too bad. If you get it wrong, you just have to start over with no penalty. And we got another blue portal. For the next challenge, we have to observe the bats we pass through and answer a question at the end. It's also pretty easy. This one is a stealth challenge. It's not too difficult, you just need to be patient. Here, you need to find the treasure chest that isn't empty. In this floor, my time is already running out before I even get to the challenge room. For some reason, they put a maze before the challenge area, which is really annoying. In this challenge, we have to slay the dragon based on the description given. I already wasted some time trying to find the challenge room, and I misunderstood the challenge. I thought the description referred to the monster sprite in battle, but it actually refers to the sprite outside of battle. Once you run out of time, you start taking constant damage to both HP and MP, and random encounters start spawning like crazy. After misunderstanding the challenge, I ran out of potions and MP. Let's start over again. This time we got a logic puzzle where you need to find the treasure by asking NPCs for clues, but one of them is lying. I'm pretty bad at this one. I ran out of time, which means we got the red portal. For the second one, got another shoving puzzle. And another stealth game. At this point, I don't care which color do I get. In this challenge, you have to light the candles according to the instructions on the tablet. Not too bad, just need to do a couple of adjustments. It's too bad that my time already ran out right after I started the challenge. And again, I don't really care what portal color I get since I never completed the run before. This one is super hard for me. You need to herd the bat into the area in the middle. The bat always turns right when it collides with something, including my character. So after being stuck for like 30 minutes, I just brute forced it. The next challenge is the mirror movement. It's not too bad, you just have to do it 3 times, and each time it gets longer. And then another order puzzle. Next, we've got another memory game where you need to repeat the sequence of button presses. In this challenge, you have to make each pair of statues face each other. And here's another difficult challenge: the march. It may seem easy, but you really need split-second reactions for this. It took me a while to get through it. And to top it off, once you run out of time, you still can get random encounters that can mess up your timing. And finally, we reach the final floor. If you remember, the achievement for this boss has numbers on it. So I'll go in order, starting from the lowest number, and skip through all the fights until the end, because they are pretty similar. Okay, I'm gonna need to organize this a little bit. If we go by the portal sequence I took to get here, the boss is going to be this one. Since I'm doing this in order, let's start with Crenodia's first form. This is Crenodia original form without any fusion. For some reason, I don't have any audio for this fight. Sorry about that. Since I'm already max level at 99 and fully geared, I don't really notice much difference between the bosses. The second form here is Crenodia fused with Lich. The third form is fused with Merilith. Fourth form is fused with Kraken. Fifth form is fused with Tiamat. Sixth form is a combination between Lich and Merilith. And the seventh form is a combination of Kraken and Tiamat. And finally, the eighth form is a combination of all the bosses from earlier. I'm going to let it play out fully so you can see how the endgame battle goes, but I'll double the speed so you don't get bored, since it's very repetitive. My tactic is still the same. First, I stack Protera and Invisira on the whole party, while buffing the Master and Knight with Haste and Saber from the Giant Glove. I guess Crenodia hits harder than Omega since we're level 99 with stronger gear now, and it still almost one-shots the ninja. There is no reason to save Elixir at this point. In this playthrough, I didn't fight Crenodia in order either. I think I faced the 8th form on my 4th run of the dungeon. There are several kinds of close calls, but with a bunch of elixirs, it's going to be fine. And as usual, the ninja remains as the weakest link. I can only use him for buffing haste or using items. I think if we could swap the ninja with a white wizard, it would be much easier fight for all the bosses. That was a very close call. We would have been wiped if Chronody had cast a damage spell there. Thankfully, we still have 16 mega elixirs. Come to think of it, that's a pretty crazy amount. The most annoying part of Chronodia is the seal spell it just used. Sometimes it seals the attack command, which just adds more delay. Since Chronodia just sealed magic, I'm running out of options on which item to use. Ooh, that's just bad luck. I really hope we don't get wiped on the next turn. Another bit of bad luck? Well, that was such a waste of Mega Elixir. Finally, the party's back on its feet. The Master's doing all the heavy lifting here, constantly putting out massive damage. After stacking a couple of buffs, the fight becomes manageable. This is the main reason why I cut a lot of fights in the game. The fights are such a drag, and most of them are just repetitive. Originally, the rough version of the video was a little over 7 hours, even after minimal editing and cuts. I wasn't really happy with that, so I tried to keep it under 2 hours. This rune staff is also a good replacement for the white wizard because it can cast Hilara when used. It's very good for healing the whole party, although the white wizard can use Hilaga, which is a stronger spell. This seal spell is really annoying. It seals attacks and drags the fight out even longer. You know, while fighting the final boss 8 times, I've been thinking about the best party setup. My guess would be 3 masters and 1 white wizard, since masters don't require powerful weapons like the knight. Or maybe 1 knight for tanking, along with 2 masters and 1 white wizard. What do you guys think? Honestly, I'm not too sure about magic in this game. I tried using Flare with a red wizard. It's supposed to be the strongest spell in the game, but it only does a couple hundred damage. It might be different if a black wizard casts it. I think the damage formula might depend on the caster's stats. This fight takes a very long time. I think it lasts around 17 minutes. Chronodia has a huge amount of HP, not to mention a couple of annoying seal spells. I don't know its exact HP, but it's probably around 40 to 50,000. I think we're close now. The party is fully buffed up, and Chronodia can barely do any damage now. Finally, it's over. And to show you how long it took the first time I beat this dungeon, this is my first recorded clear. And it took almost 4 hours. Maybe it's because it was my first time and I was still figuring out how the puzzles work. Alright, let me first show you the final gear I got from the Labyrinth of Time. And there are a couple of mage items that I'm not able to equip. Okay, the next achievement is the sliding puzzle, which I've never seen before. To access it, you need to hold the X button and keep pressing the circle button while on the boat until it activates. And here's the sliding puzzle. It's basically a standard sliding puzzle with a timer. The achievement depends on how quickly you can solve the puzzle. Alright, let's give it a try. To be honest, I'm not really good at this, so I'll probably be stuck here for a while. And on the first try, I got it under 2 minutes. Honestly, not too bad. After grinding this for almost an hour and learning a few tricks, I finally got it under a minute. And finally, for under 30 seconds, I got it on the next try. Just kidding, I cheated. After trying for another 30 minutes, I realized it was probably impossible for me to get under 30 seconds, so I used an online puzzle solver. I already had a feeling it would be impossible when I was trying to get under 1 minute. Next up is finishing the 4th achievement for Bestiary. Why am I skipping the 3rd? Because it includes Chaos, so I can't get it yet. There are a couple of monsters I missed in the Whisperwind Cove dungeon, starting from floor 30 and above. There are also some in the Hellfire Chasm. Even though it looks like the overworld, it's actually still part of the same dungeon, just a different floor. The last one is also there, on the Fire Shrine floor. And with everything done, it's finally time to take on Chaos. Although, spoiler alert, I actually already beat him while doing the Labyrinth of Time. I thought the game would keep going, but nope. Straight to New Game Plus. So yeah, I had to reload my save. Why am I telling you this? Because I already got the achievement for beating Chaos and I didn't record it. This is also the last chest collection achievement. And now it's time to take on Chaos for the 2nd time. With how strong I am now, this should be an easy fight, so I'll skip ahead. And the last achievement is actually Bestiary 3. And with that, we've finally beaten and mastered Final Fantasy I on PSP. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this adventure. This video might be a bit rough, but it took a lot of time and effort, and I'll definitely try to do better next time. It's my first time making the video, so I learned a lot while editing and writing the script. Feel free to leave any feedback or suggestions. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.